You don't know who I am? My ex-husband Richard Hanson's mocking voice filled the entire room. Beside him, unable to hide her smile, was my sister, Ashley. You and Sean are just second-rate, after all. Richard and Ashley were clearly mocking Sean and me. And who do you think I am? Sean's retort marked a complete reversal of roles. After all, Sean is. I am Tracy. I work as a medical office administrator. I'm turning 47 this year and take pride in my job every day. I decided to pursue a career in medicine during college, overcoming many challenges along the way. My current position is, in part, thanks to the support of my husband, Richard. Tracy, you can definitely do it. Thank you. But I'm anxious every day. What if I fail the exam? Don't think about the bad stuff, just believe in yourself. We met in college and pursued a career in medicine together. Richard, shall we go home together today? Of course, Tracy. Richard was a kind and dependable figure. I was truly happy when he proposed. Richard, I'm looking forward to our future. Yeah, Tracy. With you, any future is fine. In my late 20s, when Richard proposed, I was truly happy. However, a certain tragedy struck our blissful life. 20 years after the proposal, a certain event occurred. While living an ordinary life, Richard said, I have something to tell you. Tracy, there's something I need to tell you. What's wrong? You look serious. Actually, I think we should break up. What? Why all of a sudden? Actually, I've decided to marry Ashley. The moment Richard's words reached my ears, it felt as if my world had stopped. What? Why all of a sudden? It must be some kind of joke, right? We've been married for about 20 years. Well, you know, we've been in a rut lately. My voice trembled. My heart pounded wildly, and my mind went blank. Ashley, you mean my sister? It was unbelievable. Hot tears streamed down my cheeks. Sorry, Tracy. But I'm happier with Ashley. Happy? What about our happiness? What about the promises of marriage? The dreams for the future? Questions flooded in, but I couldn't find my voice. Okay. Be happy. I replied with a calmness that surprised even me. But inside, a storm raged. Anger, sadness, despair, and a deep sense of loss. After Richard left, I sat alone in the room. Everything we had built seemed to crumble like a sandcastle. How should I live from tomorrow? But I couldn't just cry. I had my own life to live and had put in a lot of effort until now. I must start moving forward, little by little. That night, I decided to start a new job and a new life. Later, I changed my workplace and dedicated myself to my job in a new medical office setting. As life at the new job began, I slowly started looking forward again. Months passed, and working busily every day, my heart began to heal little by little. Good morning. Good morning, Tracy. Let's do our best today. Every time I saw a patient's smile, I felt good about choosing this job. But sometimes, loneliness would well up. I wonder how Ashley is doing. Why did Richard choose my sister Ashley? Was there something lacking in me? Thinking of my sister still pained my heart. Although I had cut off contact, part of me still wanted to see her. One day, a new patient came to the clinic. Tracy, please handle the new patient. Yes, I understand. The patient was a man with kind eyes. This is your first visit. Please fill out the questionnaire. Thank you. Excuse me. Yes? Do you have a question? No, I was just impressed with your courteous service. Thank you. It's only natural. You're rare, you know. Most people treat patients mechanically because they are so busy. Is that so? But I love this job. When I receive words of gratitude from patients, I feel glad I worked hard. The man smiled at me. I see. Please keep up the good work. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sean Foster. Mr. Foster, I am Tracy Wood. Since that day, he began visiting regularly, always speaking kindly to me. Ms. Wood, it's nice to see you again. Thank you. Mr. Foster, are you coming from work? Yes, I finished a bit early today. One day, he unexpectedly asked me out. Ms. Wood, if it's okay with you, how about we go out for dinner? Me? With you? Yes, of course. I wouldn't insist, though. After some hesitation, I decided to accept his invitation. Okay, I'd like to join you for dinner. Dinner with him was enjoyable. As we shared meals, we became closer and even changed how we addressed each other. Sean, what do you do for work? Actually, I also work in the medical field. Do you remember the first day we met, when I approached you? Maybe it's an occupational hazard. I tend to notice the attitude of nurses and doctors. So, you work in the medical field too? Yes, that's right. We talked about work and hobbies, and before we knew it, time had flown by. Tracy, thank you for the delightful time. Thank you as well. It's been a while since I could relax. After that, we began dating regularly. We went to the movies, walked in the park, and had coffee at cafes. Time with Sean was a healing period for me. One evening, while enjoying dinner together, I decided to open up about my past. Sean, I have something I want to talk about. What is it, Tracy? You can tell me anything. I took a deep breath and started talking about my past. I used to be engaged. His name was Richard, and we had been together since college. But he ended up marrying my sister. I might be wrong to tell you this. But I thought, if it's you, Sean, I could talk about it. Sean looked surprised at first, but then he listened intently. At that time, I was really hurt, and I even cut off contact with my sister. Even now, thinking about her hurts my heart. Maybe there was something I didn't know about. I wonder if things would have been different if I had been more attentive. Tracy, that must have been hard. But you are strong. Despite such a past, you live looking forward. Sean's words brought tears to my eyes. Thank you, Sean. I'm really glad I met you. Tracy, I accept all of your past. Let's walk this path together from now on. I'll cherish you, no matter what. Does that mean? My heart might have conveyed its beating to Sean. I was that nervous. Yes, that's what it means. I will make you happy, Tracy. I accept everything about your past. So, will you marry me? Relieved by his words, I felt I could overcome any difficulty as long as Sean was with me. Yes, of course. I cried openly. I had been at rock bottom after my engagement was broken by Richard. But then, a prince appeared before me. From the day after Sean's proposal, everything in my daily life seemed colorful. Surely, the broken engagement had numbed my emotions. But Sean was undoubtedly the one who brought color back into my life. One day, Sean made a suggestion. Tracy, I'd like to go and greet your family. Really? Yes, I want to properly introduce myself to your family. I was a bit puzzled by his words because I hadn't resolved things with Ashley yet. But, about my family. don't worry, Tracy. I'm here with you. Encouraged by Sean's words, I decided to introduce him to my family. On the way to my parents' home with him, I was a bit nervous. It had been a while since I had returned home, and my heart was uneasy. Hi. Hi, Tracy, how have you been? Oh, who is this? Sean. My boyfriend. My mother was surprised at first, but soon smiled. Nice to meet you, I'm Tracy's mother. Nice to meet you. My name is Sean Foster. Tracy has always been taking good care of me. At that moment, Ashley entered the room. Hi, Tracy. Oh, who is this? Sean, my boyfriend. Ashley showed a surprised expression for a moment but soon sported a cold smile. So even a medical office administrator like you got a boyfriend. Those words hurt me a bit. Afterwards, we all sat down for a meal prepared by our mother, enjoying a warm atmosphere. Sean, what do you do for work? I work in the medical field. In the medical field, huh? Do you work at a hospital? No, I work within a medical group. Ashley smirked disdainfully. Probably just a menial job, right? Menial, you say? Well, some might think that. I thought so. Oh, if I upset you, sorry. But, well, not to brag, but my husband is a doctor. He has more status, honor, and money than we know what to do with. Oh, don't worry. I'm not comparing. No, please, don't mind. Ashley seemed a bit irritated by Sean's composed demeanor. Seeing Ashley's expression reminded me of something. Ashley has to be the best at everything. She was like that even during our school days. She wouldn't pick her means for her ends. Then, the front door opened, and Richard entered. I'm home. Sorry, I'm late even though Mom invited me. The moment I saw Richard, my heart nearly stopped. I never imagined we'd reunite at my parents' home. Oh, Tracy? Richard. Richard showed a moment of surprise, then a cold smile appeared. I was just about to have dinner with Ashley and her mother. Never thought we'd meet up like this. By the way, are you still working as a medical administrator? Yes, I am. So, you're still slaving away in the medical world every day. I noticed Sean twitch at Richard's words. Why did I have to run into Richard? Out of 365 days in a year, it had to be today. Regardless, Sean, who also works in the medical field, must have disliked Richard's words. Ashley ran up to Richard and intertwined her arms with his. Richard, Tracy and Sean are here too. Richard looked at Sean with a look of disdain. Oh, you're Tracy's new boyfriend. Medical field, huh? What exactly do you do? Surgery? Or maybe a small clinic? Well, I can guess most of it without asking. Sean answered calmly. I am involved in medical work. Richard laughed through his nose. I thought so. Not exactly a place you can proudly claim, right? You're engaged to Tracy, after all. It must be some low-level job. I'm a medical director, so you understand. I own status, honor, and wealth. Everything. We might show a nice face to patients, but this is the real face of a doctor. It's a good learning experience for you guys, isn't it? Yes, Richard is a talented doctor. Tracy, you as a medical administrator, are nothing like him. That's right. Medical administration is a job anyone can do. Sean, your job must be nothing special, right? You match my sister, after all. I felt anger at those words, but Sean remained calm. Was this the hidden side of my former fiancé? Had marrying Ashley changed him, or had I just not noticed before? Is that so? You are a medical director. Richard nodded proudly. Not just any director. A superb doctor. Hey, Richard. Why don't you tell them about our new house? Oh, yeah. Richard and Ashley were beaming. We're moving to a luxury apartment. Tracy, you're probably never going to experience such a world. Listen and be amazed, it's a top location everyone envies. And guess what? Tell them, Ashley. It's the top floor. Every morning, we drink coffee while looking down on insignificant people. Keep up the good work at the bottom, for our sake. Oh, right. We've also been on several overseas trips. Tracy, you guys don't have that kind of leeway, do you? Just the other time, we went to London. First class. At those words, my heart ached. When I squeezed Sean's hand, he smiled at me kindly. That's enviable indeed. First class, impressive indeed. And a trip to London. Richard, you must be quite distinguished. Be careful with your choice of words when you say distinguished for a medical director. No, I didn't mean it that way. It must be an honor to work for such a company. At that moment, my mother said worriedly, "Everyone, stop it now." However, Richard and Ashley did not cease. People at the bottom of the medical world, sitting at the same table with us. Truly. We're in a different class. Tracy, remember? Back in university, you studied so hard but you never became a medical director. That's right. You were always relying on Richard. Even for university assignments, you always relied on me. Well, I was still top of the class though. What can I say, maybe it's a difference in intellect. Why could they speak like this in front of my parents? I was simply bewildered. Sean, you ended up just like Tracy, unable to become a doctor, right? Sean answered calmly. I didn't become a doctor, but I support many people through my work in the medical field. That's just an excuse. An excuse of a loser who couldn't become a doctor. And, Sean, you said you support many people. In the medical world, it's doctors who support patients. Remember that clear difference. Right. Both you and Sean are just second-rate. People like you claiming to be in the medical field? Don't make me laugh. You're lowering the value of healthcare. I felt tears welling up, but Sean gently held my hand. Tracy, it's okay. Don't be swayed by their words. There's no first or second class in jobs. Then, my mother spoke again. Stop it now. Both Tracy and Sean are living admirably. Admirably? With such menial jobs? We are far more successful. Is this what they call the structure of society? Sean quietly began to speak. Richard, Ashley. I understand what you've been saying. If you understand, then just leave. Go home and study to become a doctor. Or should I take you by the hand and teach you? At Richard's words, Sean snorted. Then, we will take our leave now. Sean. It's okay, let's go. Days later, Sean was attending an important meeting at the city's largest general hospital. Good morning. As the other doctors nodded and returned his greeting, Richard took his seat. After a while, the chairman of the general hospital, Norman, entered the room. Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to discuss an important matter. Mr. Norman, I have a question before we begin. What is it, Dr. Hansen? Is someone from the group headquarters also attending today's meeting? Yes, indeed. Actually. At that moment, the door to the meeting room opened, and a man in a suit entered. As the man in the suit entered, Richard's eyes widened. Why? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our group's CEO, Sean Foster. The room buzzed. Richard stared at Sean in disbelief. Why? You? Dr. Irving spoke sternly to Richard. Dr. Hansen. Whom are you speaking to? Well, this is my ex-wife's current boyfriend. Richard, who did you think I was? Richard's face turned pale, and the atmosphere in the meeting room froze. Everyone, I apologize. Dr. Hansen and I know each other from before on a personal basis. Is that so? However, such an attitude is not appropriate. Well, yes, I apologize. Let's move on to the main topic. I want to discuss the management of each hospital. Sean began using the projector to show the management data of each hospital. Here are the results of the patient satisfaction survey for each hospital. The screen displayed the names of several hospitals along with corresponding graphs. It was clear at a glance that the graph for Richard Hansen's hospital was notably lower compared to the others. Dr. Hansen's hospital seems to have particularly low ratings from patients. Specifically, the issues raised include long wait times, doctors' responses, and the cleanliness of the facilities. Richard sank deeply into his chair. The concern is especially regarding the doctor's responses. Dr. Hansen? Have you been providing appropriate guidance to the junior doctors recently? Oh, yes, of course. However, it seems there are many complaints from junior doctors indicating that adequate guidance is not being provided. Other doctors looked at Richard with suspicion. Dr. Hansen, are you fulfilling your responsibilities as a medical director? No, well. Moreover, there seem to be issues with your work attitude as well. Looking at last month's attendance record, there are clearly many instances of leaving early and arriving late. Dr. Hansen, what is this about? It was due to personal issues. Allowing personal issues to interfere with work is problematic as a professional, especially in a field where we are responsible for human lives. Richard was lost for words and just looked down. Everyone. Medicine is a critical profession that involves human lives. We have a duty to always prioritize our patients and provide the highest quality medical service. Everyone in the meeting room nodded deeply at Sean's words. To improve the current state of Dr. Hansen's hospital, I would like to implement several measures. However, before we discuss that, only Richard remained slumped in his chair. There is one important matter. All eyes in the room focused on Sean. Dr. Hansen, there have been numerous reports of inappropriate behavior in the hospital involving your girlfriend, Ashley. What are you talking about? Private meetings during clinic hours, Ashley harassing the nurses. And above all, actions disregarding patient privacy. These actions are absolutely unacceptable for medical professionals. The meeting room buzzed. Richard was taken aback but quickly assumed a defensive posture. Wait a minute. That's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? What do you mean? I was meeting Ashley because she was ill. That's right. She came for treatment of her illness. During clinic hours? It was for symptoms that required immediate attention. And there was no harassment of nurses. Ashley was merely offering kind advice. I see. Advice from someone with no medical knowledge. And what about the breach of patient privacy? That was just sharing necessary information for the treatment of patients. Sometimes, that's necessary to improve the quality of healthcare. Richard rattled off his excuses as the tension in the room escalated. Dr. Hansen, I have heard everything you said. However, unfortunately, all of them differ from the facts. What do you mean? First, we checked Ashley's medical records. And there is no record of such emergency treatments. Next, multiple nurses have reported harassment by Ashley. Richard's face turned pale. And finally, regarding patient privacy. You shared specific patient information with Ashley in situations unrelated to their treatment. This is a clear violation of confidentiality. That can't be. Hey. Dr. Hansen, is this true? No, that is. We have sufficient evidence. Surveillance footage, testimonies from staff and patients. Richard's face turned stark white. Sean continued sternly. Dr. Hansen, I'm sorry, but these actions will have to be disciplined. We will deliberate on the specifics of the penalty. Is that clear? What? I think that's the right decision. Actions that undermine trust in healthcare are utterly inexcusable. I agree. Dr. Hansen, your actions are unfit for a doctor. Richard was speechless and just stood there stunned. Does anyone else have any comments on this matter? Everyone nodded, showing their support for Sean's decision. That concludes this meeting. Let's continue to strive to provide better medical services from tomorrow. As the meeting ended and people started to leave, Sean approached Richard. Richard, this is the result of your actions. You might want to consider disciplinary action as well. Richard's face turned red as he suddenly raised his voice. Shut up. What do you know? Please calm down. I am merely stating the facts. Don't make me laugh. Someone like you, an outsider, couldn't possibly understand my job. Do you have any idea how hard I've worked to get here? Just when I could see becoming the head of the department. What, is this harassment? Are you defending Tracy because her ex-husband is with her sister? Doing that won't get you anywhere. Please, don't make me laugh. I have no reason to harass you. There's nothing in it for me. Then why is this happening? You might want to think about that yourself. You're smart enough to be a medical director. You must be competent. I'm a doctor. I save people's lives. We're not even in the same league. Being a doctor, you should be humble. You're in a position of trust, holding people's lives in your hands. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Richard shouted while shaking his head violently. Shut up. You. People who can only look down on others have no right to lead. I had high hopes for you. Nothing has been decided yet, as of now. Listening to you talk like you're so important. Do you have anything else you want to say? You guys just order us around. Sitting comfortably in air-conditioned rooms, killing time. Why don't you do some real work? People like you, who live on titles alone, are frankly the trash of society. Just wait. In a few years, AI will take over everything. Richard, as if unhinged, hurled insults at Sean. Thank you very much for your opinion. And now, one last thing from me. Please apologize properly for hurting Tracy. Richard, you hurt Tracy. Moreover, the fact that you married Tracy's sister. How cruel that fact is to Tracy. Trying to elevate yourself by looking down on others is the ugliest act. However, you already have someone important in your life. And Tracy has a boyfriend too. The past cannot be changed. So, take this opportunity to genuinely reflect and hope to grow as a person. Alone in the empty conference room, Richard sat heartbroken. No one was there to save him. That day, Sean told me about the events of the meeting. I had no idea such things were happening. Thank you. I guess I've been quite a nuisance, haven't I? I don't think it's a nuisance at all. Richard was wrong. I don't know if it started before he met Ashley or after. But one thing is certain, he's not fit to be a medical director. What will happen to Richard? He'll probably be dismissed. That makes sense. I too have mixed feelings about my ex-husband's disciplinary action. Especially since his wife is my sister. Several months later, Sean and I happily got married. Sean, good morning. Are you up early again today? Yes, there are preparations for the new hospital. Good luck. I have a patient consultation today. Tracy, your work is impressive. I'm proud of you. The two smiled at each other and headed to their respective workplaces. Meanwhile, Richard and Ashley's lives had drastically changed. Following the meeting, Richard was dismissed. Damn, I failed another job interview. Richard, why has it come to this? Shut up. It's your fault. It's your inappropriate actions that cost you the position of medical director. You said you might have been head of the department in a few years if things had gone well. You interfered with my work. You plague. You're the root of all problems. Damn you. Their arguments escalated day by day. One day, as Tracy and Sean were walking through town, they spotted two familiar figures approaching. Is that Richard and Ashley? It seems so. He looks much thinner. As they passed by, Richard addressed Tracy. Tracy, you look happy. Yes, I'm incredibly happy. Tracy, we've decided to get a divorce. Tracy looked surprised. Really? Are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help? I don't need it. I don't want your sympathy. Richard was angry and tried to leave, but Sean calmly spoke up. If that's the case, then it's good. Richard. If you ever want to return to the medical field, feel free to consult me. Richard and Ashley looked surprised but left without saying anything. Sean, the idea of Richard returning to the medical field. Of course, it's not possible. But those two hurt you, Tracy. A little spite won't hurt, right? Tracy hugged Sean's arm and smiled happily. I am truly happy. Me too, Tracy. We'll always be together. The couple held hands and continued walking towards a bright future.